we're going to talk about how certain aspects of culture changed our psychology, particularly the weird one. In the book, you mentioned that culture, we are already done some studies that prove that culture can have a neurobiological effect on us. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I actually opened the book with a case of reading, and it's because I think it's probably the single best documented example of how we have that a particular cultural value. So people decide that children should learn to read, so they start teaching children to read at a young age, and that actually changes your brain. But this turns out to be a general process because brains don't actually work the way our kind of intuitive models of the digital computer suggest they work. There's not some hardware that then you get software poured into it, the way culture might be poured into some kind of hardwired brain. Instead, through learning and interaction, learning from others as well as direct experience with things, we actually rewire parts of our brains to make us better at whatever we focus on. And what we focus on is often the culturally valued skills in our society. So if reading is one of the culturally valued skills, you get specialized circuitry in your left hemisphere. You get a thicker corpus callosum. This gives you a longer verbal memory. So these are all kind of byproducts of adapting your brain, or sometimes direct products of adapting your brain to being better at reading, to read well. But then that leads you to the question of, well, when did people start doing reading? When did reading become something that everybody does? So, writing goes well back into human evolutionary history, but it was only in the 16th century that people decided that, everyone should learn to read and it's very important. And in the book, I make the case using lots of evidence from psychology, from economics and other places, that it was this notion of solo-scriptura, that everybody should learn to read the Bible for themselves. That led people to first reading the Bible. It wasn't actually economic incentives. It was a religious belief that then made the population literate, and that then has downstream effects for later innovation, the Industrial Revolution, things like that.
Yeah.